So I do these weekly questions every Friday on Instagram. In my stories, I ask people to give me their questions. And one of the questions that stuck out to me last week, or maybe it was the week before, someone asked me, what was the most embarrassing thing you've ever done? And what came to mind was my first day at primary school. I've been reminiscing a lot about that for some reason recently. And my first day, I walked through the gates, and my mum left me at the gate, well, she wasn't allowed in. And so I went to the playground and sat on this bench, which didn't have a back. It was just like a piece of wood. And I was so scared and alone. And I didn't speak English either. English is my second language. I learned English by myself in primary school. I remember that. And I sat on this bench and I was so lost and inside my own head and like not present that I leant back and fell down. And I think, if I remember correctly, I was wearing this really heavy rucksack. It had like books and things in it, and exercise books, and I can't remember like lunch. I remember my lunch box as well. It was like pink. I think it was a My Little Ponies one. Lunchbox. Anyway, I sat down and I leant back and fell down, and nobody came to help me. All the kids were just running around. I think someone came over and they were like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." I don't remember what I said, but I was like, I just kind of just wanted the whole situation to just go away, and so that was the start of my days in school. I hated school. It was the worst experience. Like, I don't remember anything good that happened in primary school. Like, I probably really have to think about it to think of anything good that happened. But maybe that question made me think that if it wasn't for that moment, and if it wasn't for the way that my life started in school, that maybe I wouldn't have been so inside myself, and I just wanted to make my own worlds and get lost in it, and be obsessed with like the way things move and grass and bugs and stuff. Like, that was what really fascinated me. I was just fascinated by the world and how things moved and worked. And so, yeah, that was the beginning of a lifelong obsession. If you think about, even in sports, if you think about any of your favorite people if you think of any of your favorite athletes or anyone who's exceptional at what they do, I can't think of a single person who's become really amazing, like really talented and really good at what they do, when they haven't been obsessed with it, when they haven't let this force take over their whole world. I do think that it takes that level of that time and dedication and sacrifice to get to that point. So I'm seeing all of these artists, like, now that AIs are out and about, I'm seeing all these new profiles that are popping up, and a lot of these profiles, like, they get started and they get going, and then they just kind of, I don't know, people just abandon them. Once they get to a certain number of posts that kind of look the same. That's the thing about Instagram. In order to grow your profile, you kind of have to have a niche. You have to have like a certain. It's like going to a shop. So that's another thing that people ask me all the time. Like, how are you growing your pages? Because my profile is about to reach 50k soon. It's at 49.3 right now at the point of recording this video. So I've got a few pieces lined up. Hopefully looking to launch very soon when I hit 50k. I'll leave the link down below if you want to check it out. And also, if you want to follow along in that profile and ask me questions, I'll be doing those AMAs every Friday. But yeah, the way to start growing on Instagram is to have, like, imagine it when you go to a shop and it's like, okay, think of a bakery. I don't know why I'm thinking about bakeries recently, like cakes and donuts. Anyway, Yeah, so when you go to a bakery, you want to see what the shop is offering. You want to go there and think, oh, now I know what to expect. Like, I've been there. I have a taste of it. Like, I don't want to keep or think of it as a restaurant. You go there and you want to already know what to expect. You don't want to go to the restaurant and, like, today they're serving cake and then tomorrow they're serving like stew. It's like, I came here for cake. Think of it like that. So when you're building out an Instagram profile, think of it like that. Like, think of the audience. If growing an Instagram is what your goal is. So yeah, all of these new profiles are starting up their Instagrams and they start doing a certain type of artwork and then they get excited about it, the numbers start growing, and then they fall off and they disappear and they haven't posted in months or years, some of them. And it's because when we're growing an Instagram and when we have to do the same kind of images in order to keep that rhythm and keep Algodaddy fed, then it can get very exhausting, because the reason for growing in Instagram and chasing those numbers, it's an extrinsic motivator, which means that we're driven by something that's outside of ourselves. And while that can happen, it can be fun to chase the numbers, but know that you're doing it as a strategy. Know that there's a reason behind doing that that's gonna be a stepping stone on your journey towards what your purpose really is. Like, know what your why is. It always goes back to your why. I always say this. So it's fun to grow the numbers and it's fun to climb. And one of the best things about Instagram is meeting people. The minds that I've met and the connections that I've made through Instagram, I'm so grateful for it. Like, the kind of conversations that I've been having and the collaborations and riffing off people and teaching and learning from each other. It's amazing for that. But otherwise, when it comes to chasing numbers, it's a game, it's a strategy. So my reason for doing the art side of it, that is what drives my desire to grow on there and to continue being invited into these rooms that I would have never dreamt. Like, how would you ever have done this kind of thing? How would you ever have met these kind of people and made these connections and been able to network like this without something like social media? So it can be tough. It can be brutal sometimes. Especially when the numbers aren't moving and your goal is to see those numbers, because it's fun, right? But when we have something that drives us, that is an intrinsic motivator, then whether the numbers are growing or not, you have this unshakable knowledge within yourself that you are doing what makes you happy, and whatever happens around that doesn't matter. This is like so okay, let me give you a story, an example. So yeah, that after primary school, then secondary school kind of that's a story for another day. And then there was sixth form. I didn't go to college. I went to sixth form, which is kind of like college, but within the same school. And then after that, I went to uni and I did biology. And that was, I did that because I was always interested in biology. I was always good at it. Somehow, in my time in secondary school, I spent a lot of time in detention and like being sent out of the classroom for drawing in the textbooks. Don't do that. Anyone young who's watching this is in school. Don't draw in your textbooks. That's vandalism. But yeah, so I did that a lot. And also in the sides of your exercise books, I just couldn't concentrate. I just wasn't interested in it. It's just, I was way more interested in what was inside my head or what was going on outside in the window, outside, and or like I was just fantasizing about nature or what I saw last night on David Attenborough. That's what really drove me. I just didn't care about maths or history. Oh, it was so hard to stay awake in history. But somehow I did really well in biology and maths and English. So then I followed that drive. I loved biology. It was just biology and chemistry. What was the other science? Physics. Oh, yeah. It was just, I loved science. I wasn't like the model student. Like it was. I talked a lot, and I was always talking or sleeping. I was probably such a pain in the ass for teachers, probably. But anyway, I spent a lot of time in detention for drawing or something. I could just, yeah. And so I followed that through to uni and did biology. So my first degree was in biology. And it was not how I thought it would be. Like that first year was so boring. Like it was just, it didn't challenge me at all. I didn't learn anything that I didn't already know. It was really, really easy. And because of that, I slept through the lessons. It was like, have you ever ridden a train? Or I don't know if I go in a car, I will fall asleep immediately. Like if it's just like a motorway, I will immediately, it was so hard for me to stay awake. And that's what biology was like in uni for me. I don't know how I passed, but I passed that first year. And I realized that, I remember the moment that I was in, it was like DNA class or something. I don't remember the name of the class, but I was in my lab coat. Like they give you this. No, they don't give you it. You have to buy everything yourself, don't you? It was a white lab coat, so imagine, and the goggles they give you. So you have like these goggles and this white lab coat, and bear in mind this was another situation where I just didn't fit in. Like I didn't connect with anybody in biology because I was so. I don't know how to explain it. Like I was just really mentally different from everyone else. Everyone else like got along with each other and they were all like they clicked and stuff. I think I had like a few friends from uni. But yeah, so that was one of the reasons I didn't love that uni. But yeah, I picked up this in DNA class. I picked up my test tube. So they give you like this solution and then you somehow put banana in it. I don't remember the exact process. And then you put another solution in it and the DNA floats to the top and it makes like this silvery kind of shimmer. And that's how you can see that shimmer is the DNA. It floats to the top. And I held up my test tube in the class and I was like, I can't do this. It was such a clear moment. It's like a revelation. Like something came over me. I was like, I cannot spend my life doing this, like separating banana DNA and spending time in labs. And that's not how I imagined my life. I don't know what I imagined my life to be like at that time, but it was not like that. So I realized at that point that the decision was made that I was going to drop out. So I remember that evening I was worried I was going to tell my mom because she always, this is like Asian family dynamics, right? You're either a doctor, a lawyer, or a failure. So yeah, that was me. I was going to go home and tell my mom. I was like, I remember that evening. I was like, Mom. I was like, what? I was like, I'm going to drop out of uni. She's like, okay. I was like, what? What do you mean? Okay. yeah, she was totally cool with it. She's like, it's if that's not how you see your life, like, you don't do something that you aren't gonna love. And I was like, what? Like, I was completely shocked. I was not expecting that reaction from my mother. But she's always been supportive. She's probably watching. She's gonna judge my hair. It's so orange. I have to. My usual hairdresser wasn't there, so this was a huge risk. It'll probably be fine if I straighten it. And can you? I don't know if the camera's picking this up, but the dye around my hairline. I'm hoping it's gonna wash off by next week. I'm going to an event which I probably can't talk about just yet, but stay tuned. Anyway, what was I saying? My mom, yeah, she's always been really supportive of my artwork. So I would say that's probably one of the biggest reasons why I've stuck it out for this long. And I wouldn't even say stuck it out if that's the right choice of words, because it's been a part of my DNA for my whole life. Like, I haven't known anything else. It feels like home. And I would say that support from my family has probably been a part of that. Everyone in my family is really amazing, is creative in a different way. Like, my cousin's incredible at oil painting. My mom always, she has an artistic flair about her. And my dad can draw. He's got amazing handwriting. Everyone's got like a creative streak about them. And I was always praised for that. Like, yeah, I would say that's it. Yeah. So that moment, at that evening, yeah, my fork. It was like the fork of my journey. It could have gone like this way to becoming a doctor or something, probably, I don't know, dentist. Nothing against people who do that. Like, these people are important who do those jobs, obviously. Just wasn't for me. So this fork, or this other journey, which I was about to go on, this adventure, I had no idea what I was going to do, so I decided to go this way. So yeah, once that was decided, I had to find another course to do, because I wanted to do something. I wanted to study something. So I heard about this course called Digital Arts. And that was at Kingston College, which was just down the road from Kingston Uni, which is where I was at for biology. And then so I went to the campus and met Mark Owen, who was the course leader. He's like the head of the course there. And yeah, cool name. It's funny because he can't use that name because it's like a famous person's name. He's an amazing painter, by the way. Anyway, I went there and I took my sketchbook. This sketchbook was full of drawings that I had done during my biology lectures. It was like creatures and anatomy-driven studies and monsters and just loads and loads of scribbles, because I was obsessed with that. That's all I knew. Like, when I was in biology, I was thinking about, yeah, I loved evolution and studying speciation and nature, but I wanted to take that knowledge and make something else out of it that didn't exist. But I loved studying it. Like, I love seeing how all of this works together, because nature is incredible. It just blows my mind how amazing nature is. So I took all of that and I made these sketches in this sketchbook. The sketchbook was like, it was exploding. It was probably this thick when I bought it, and then it was like that. I remember taking it to him. So yeah, and he was just flicking through it, and he was like, I could see his mind exploding. He was like, whoa, this is amazing. Like, he just like begged me to go on his course, and I was like, oh, because there's a wait list for that course. So I was like, wow, yeah, it was like fate. So yeah, that was the beginning of my time at Kingston College, doing another digital arts, doing another degree in digital arts. So I kind of went from being feeling completely outcast, and like not fitting in at all, not being able to speak English, to then finding my way, trying different things, but taking pieces of knowledge from all of these experiences. And I was now in a place where I felt completely at home. This place was home. I felt so comfortable. I could completely come out of myself. And it was because I said no to something that didn't feel right, to allow space for something else, that did call to me and did make me feel home. And I think we can only do that when we say no to what doesn't feel right and allow, like, make that room in our lives for something better to come along. That course, I could spend all night. So we use this program called Cinema 4D. It's a 3D program by Maxon, and I could easily spend all night on an animation because I wanted to get the motion, the movement right. I would study walk cycles. I liked two-legged monsters. So you'd rig them up with something called bones, and then you would put the handles on the bones, and then you keyframe it and make sure they move, and then you get the secondary motion and make sure that's in place so it kind of bounced, and then you can control features with expressions. Or is it expressions or espresso or something? Like you put the handles on their face and you can move the corners of the mouth and make them blink and things like that. Oh, loved it. I could spend all night doing that, and it didn't feel like time would just fly. And then in the times that my Mac was rendering, I'd be like, oh, I want to make more stuff, but I couldn't use my Mac at the time, so I have to sleep because I have to render. So it's just that's called being in flow, and that is, I think all creatives look for that. Look for those times and those opportunities to have more of that feeling of being in flow, because our best work comes out when we can do that. So that was the best time. That was such a good degree. I loved it. Came out with a first class honours. I loved every moment of that course. I learned so much, made so many great friends. It was just incredible. My work ended up in magazines to promote the college and promote the course. I went back for a few years they do digital arts shows. I went back for them for a few years. They were fun, seeing the amount of progress that they make every year with the technology. You can't get good at something if you're just interested in it. If you're just thinking, oh, I'm going to dabble in it for today or an afternoon, or I'm going to it's like New Year's resolutions, right? This is why I don't believe in them, because you make all these, you're in a state of being motivated or inspired. You see all this, this hype around losing weight or eating differently or being healthy or whatever, and you're like, oh, I'm going to try this for a week. Get bored, it gets hard, it gets boring, it gets monotonous and repetitive, and you think, oh, I'm just going to eat a cake, or I'm going to then you slip back into your old habits, and it's like, what's the point of that? You can't live your life just being mildly interested in things. You have to allow yourself to become possessed by this desire, this urge to explore, to really get stuck into something. And then that's the only way. When it gets boring or repetitive, or when you're not seeing the results, that you'll stick with it because you have this belief that you're going to move through that and out of the other end and keep going. It's like training. When you do the same movements, then there will come a time where you don't have to pull up that motivation and that desire to do it, because you'll have this urge, like this itch, this compulsion to do it. Again, it's like muscle memory. Like once you trained for a while, you cannot not train. Like your body feels like it wants to move, like it wants to push some weight. And that's what creating is like. Once you've done it and you've felt what it's like to go through that process and then have something at the end of it that you can show, or you can look at and you're like, wow, yes, I made this thing. And then you see that it inspires other people. And now that there's social media and you put it up and you can see that it's making people happy and people have something to say about it, or you've pulled out this feeling from other people, they've created a feeling within themselves through what you've put out. It's like, wow. And even if that doesn't happen on social media, it's like, well, I've created something that's given me this feeling and is a form of expression for me. And isn't that what we're here to do, is to express and make all of the information and energy and stuff that we absorb through the world, take it in and then process it through our filters and then put it out in a form that only we can put out. And that becomes addictive. Now, with obsession, with compulsion, and becoming so narrowly focused in on one area, there is sacrifice. And that's one of the things that maybe is a reason why most people don't stick out, because there's no way you're going to get good at something new, especially if you're looking to learn something and get to those expert levels at it, like those levels of greatness at it. There's no way you're going to do that if you're thinking, oh, I'm going to spend my Friday night watching Netflix for freaking 8 hours, like binging some show, or I'm going to be gaming, or I'm going to go out and drink with my mate on Friday night and then be hungover for like the whole weekend. This is why most people who start out doing their New Year's resolution end up failing, because it requires sacrifice. Like, you have to say no to a lot of things. You have to say no to a lot of people. The people around you are going to change because now you're not available for them. Now your focus is elsewhere. It's on something that doesn't probably, it's not something that they can help with, or they're going to be wanting your time, and you're going to be like, I'd rather do something else. And that's hard. So the people around you change, and that is, it can be lonely, it can be scary, and it's easy to fall back into those habits that meant that you stayed mediocre. I would say that's something that probably worked in my favor in school, and probably secondary school as well, is not fitting in, because I didn't have that to worry about. I had a very small group of friends, and that's all I needed, because I just wanted to do art and be in the garden and play with bugs. That's all I cared about. And it's difficult to find people like that when you're that young. So I guess art was the only way that I kind of got that connection. Like, the memories that stick out for me in school, and if through growing up, was like, if I would draw something, like, to me, drawing a female form or something is so, I don't even think about it, like, it's so easy to me. Or drawing a hand, or a foot. I've got a lot of feet on my profile at the moment, don't judge me. It's so easy to me because I've just done it so much. I'm so practiced at it. It's like my arm, just my hand knows what to do. So and when people see that, they're like, whoa, it's all this. And it's like, okay, so I don't fit in, but there's this thing that I can do. It's like a party trick, I guess, that makes people go, wow. And it's like, okay. So, but I would say that kind of extrinsic motivation can be good to get you going, but it's not, I don't think it will sustain you. I was always the weird one. I was always the one that stuck out, strange ideas. I drew weird things and I made strange creatures, but it felt right somehow. Like, and then I was getting exposed to games and movies where these creatures, there's people who are making whole careers making these creatures and making them move, and it's like, whoa, I want to do that. And then I realized that that's where I wanted to go. That's the direction that I wanted to go in. I wanted to, these creatures and these movements that I see in my head, I want to bring them to life. I want to see them. I want to feel them. I want other people to see them and be like, whoa, I want to bring them to life. So as I moved through that course, there was moments where, you do a lot of growing up in uni, you do a lot of soul searching, and there's a lot of processing that goes on. And I think through all the pain and all of the emotional turmoil that we've experienced up through those years, art was also a form of expression for me. It was an outlet for me to process all of that. And it was a way for me to give form to something that is formless. So a lot of my creatures would, one day when I find these sketches, I'll see if I can find any. They're probably floating around on the internet somewhere. A lot of these creatures in these drawings, they had a lot of expression behind them, a lot of emotion, and it was a form of catharsis for me. Like I could express it through the artwork, and other people seemed to kind of understand what I was trying to say through it. So it was like, it was communication for me as well. And that's where my obsession grew roots. It was like pulling from something that had grown within me, and it was coming out of me, and the art was like the fruit of something much deeper. I don't think we should, let me think of different words. There's light and shadow. A lot of my artwork, my recent pieces have been about this, exploring these different parts of ourselves, because it's easy to want to pretend that we don't have this darkness and these shadows and this pain and these needs within ourselves, and it's easy to kind of just pretend that it's all like joy and happiness and butterflies and stuff, and but that's the ego. It doesn't want to accept that we have this like ugly side, this ugliness within us, and but if we're able to, there's a lot of goodness in that shadow as well. Like there's a lot of power in that pain that we can pull up and use as a form of energy. And the more that we can be accepting of that, of all of that need and all of that pain within us, then the more our work is going to have an impact, and the more it's going to help express the feelings that people have, and it will resonate with people. And that's what will make your artwork stand out in amongst the crowds. It's really gutting right now for me to see, but with AI coming out, there's so many profiles that are just like taking the concept of other artists, taking ideas and just like making exactly the same thing. And it's like, guys, you're missing the point. You're missing the whole point of being a creative. That's not like, getting views and things is fun, but if that's all we're doing, it's a very shallow pursuit to just copy other artists and like rip off people's concepts. So maybe that's why a lot of these profiles are fading away, because it isn't all about the process and what software and what tools you use, because software and tools and even a hardware, it changes all the time. It's the thing that you use to express what's inside. Oh, that's the other thing. Don't get me started. These profiles that are just literally all reels that they've screen recorded and posted of other people's artwork, and they're getting millions of views and they're growing thousands, hundreds and thousands of followers. Anyway, there's a lot of unglamorous, unsexy things that are part of getting to those levels as well. I mean, one of the things, like even this evening, one of the things that was stopping me from jumping on the camera was like, oh, my hair is a bit fried and I've got these marks around my hairline and stuff. I'm like, maybe I'll just put off recording for another day. But that was my own self-doubt creeping in, which happens quite often, especially since I think I've always made a point of wanting to be in rooms where I always want to be the one that learns from everyone else in the room. Like I want to keep that curiosity about everyone around me. And so, but along with that comes with, oh, maybe if I just do something else better, or is this good enough, or, what are people going to say? Yeah, so it can be lonely sometimes. But I continue to believe that for every evening that I say no to going out partying or something, that it will mean that I'm saying yes to myself. And for every room where the door has closed for me, that would allow space for me to be invited into different rooms where I'm welcome and where it feels more like home and somewhere that I'm wanted and valued. So far, that's always been the case. I can't think of any time I've said no to something that doesn't feel right that hasn't opened the door to something much bigger and better for me. And in all my time, I've never wanted to be normal. Who wants to be normal? Oh, I can't think of anything more boring. I want to fit in and be like everyone else and disappear. No, not for me. I like that about myself. I like that I make weird things, and I like that I want to explore, and I like that I push the boundaries. I like that about myself. And it means that I am not Nutella. I'm not for everyone. There's going to be people that it's going to provoke and piss off, and there's going to be people that get angry with what I do because it provokes something within themselves that they're not ready to see yet. They're not ready to bring to the surface and really look at that ugliness, put it out on the table and look at it. That's what I like to do with my artwork. I want to put this ugliness in your face and I want you to look at it and really think about how it makes you feel. And that's why I'm not worried about AI, because a bird does not put her trust in the branch. A bird puts her trust in her wings. Whatever tool it is, I'm going to find a way. There's something inside me that needs to come out. There's always something to explore. I'm always growing my reference library. I'm always collating information. I'm collating anatomy and evolution and creatures and biology and science and space. And I'm creating something from it. There's always something to create. There's always some process within myself that I have to figure out, and I'm going to use artwork to do that. And whether it's AI or whether it's some other medium, I'm going to always find a way to do that. AI is not going anywhere. It doesn't have emotion. It doesn't experience pain or pleasure the way that we do. It cannot create something all by itself. It can mimic it, but it's not going to take away all of your experience and all of the things that you've been through and you've witnessed and felt. It doesn't have the ability to do that. Without you driving it, it can't do anything. Now that AI is out, I can bring out more ideas in a day than I've ever been able to in my whole life. I am so excited for this time that we're in, and these opportunities that we have, this powerful thing that we have at our fingertips, because now we can make 10 times the amount of artwork that we could ever have made before. We have this unlimited amount of information in front of us, and these tools to help us articulate it and bring it to life like we've never had before. I'm so excited right now. All of the creatures that I haven't been able to bring to life because it takes so long to make them in 3D and then animate them and move them and get those textures and those details, I can conjure it up now. All of these creatures that I've had in my sketchbook in my mind, and what I was fantasizing about in biology and dreaming about when I was asleep in school, I could bring them to life now. All the stories and the emotions and the pain and the pleasure that I felt, I can bring it to life through my writing. And I've never even been one to write before. I can use my voice in a way that I've never been able to before because I have the confidence of all this power behind me. This is an incredible tool. It's an incredible time to be alive. And I can't think of any other time that I would rather be in than right now. So that's why I'm not worried. Thank you for being here. Oh, I forgot to mention I started up a Patreon. There's nothing on there yet. Maybe I won't announce that just yet. How does this sound? Oh my gosh, I really hope my